What is up out there, internet land? I thought I'd just make this quick video. Um, a lot of people keep asking me what's up with the RH negative thing. How come I haven't been doing it? I still completely study it. I love it. It's part of my daily life. But I try and not over amplify it. I think some people are kind of slightly over it. Other people are very intrigued by it. Let me turn this down a little bit. I like my little dragon. But I don't know. I guess what I might want to go ahead and share tonight would be my story. I'm sorry I look like complete dog shit. I just got done running a giant load from Salt Lake City to Loveland, Colorado, through the snow. Bananas, that's a whole nother story. But so yeah, back to the RH negative thing and how I found out I was RH negative. Pretty much, I went to the hospital a few years ago on some unexpected stuff, and I had to have some blood work done. So they drew my blood, and this is how the story goes. So pretty much I'm sitting on an operating table and they're like, you're about to die. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? And he's like, well, we've got to work on you right now or you will die. So all I remember is closing my eyes and a single tear coming out of each eye and just praying for my kids. I wasn't ready to leave them at that moment. And that's all that was on my mind as I was fading on. I could feel my body getting very cold. I felt like I was in a blizzard, with no clothes. I mean, I was like shaking. They had me covered in warm blankets. But long story short, ever since that experience, things kind of changed. I'm not saying I went to heaven. I'm not saying I went to the afterworld. I don't know. One thing I do know is that right before I woke up, I did not want to wake up from surgery. Wherever I was at, I was in peace. My heart was stopped for 8 hours on the table while they were working on me. I didn't want to wake up. And so I remember something very clearly. It didn't speak English and it didn't even have a language, okay? It spoke with like emotion. And it might have been my subconscious talking. But real simply, it was like, you are not done, you must finish. The hell does that mean? You know? But boom, I wake up and it's just like in the movies where everything's foggy. My family's all in the room. And I had certain requests that were pretty funny at that moment. I won't bring those up. But they were making sure that I was going to still be able to talk. So they were holding up fingers. How many fingers am I holding up? And it took me forever to answer. But my family's slowly starting to kind of like reconnect with me, make sure I was going to be okay leaving the hospital. But I knew ever since that moment that I needed to figure something out, but I didn't know what it was. Okay. So we'll fast forward. About a year and a half later, I decided I was going to buy some land in the mountains of Colorado. I was going to have an organic farm. I was going to build a Earthship style house. So I made a down payment on the land, started kind of making some of the payments, getting that organized. I go up one summer to kind of organize the land and get it surveyed and everything scaled out and figured out where I wanted to put stuff. And I'm up there, and I had this camper that I built that's all solar powered. And so it was me and my pit bull at the time. This dog was huge. He looked like a gargoyle. You can probably look him up on Facebook. His name was Blue. So he's outside crying like I've never heard him cry before. There's this loud whimper, sound like Chewbacca in a headlock type sound. Almost like that, but not as beautiful and trippy. And so I'm like, well, shit. So I get my gun out, and I'm like, okay, well, there's probably a mountain lion out there, or a bear or something. We're way deep in the woods of South Colorado. It's called the San Cristo Mountains, which translates to the Blood of Christ Mountains. So I let him inside, and I look out the window, and there are these lights. There's 3 of them, and they have that very distinct pattern, right? But they kind of like were moving in formation, in and out, and doing their little thing, formation. One would disappear, and you still see the other 2, and then the other one would come back. But they still stayed a very tight pattern. And at first I wanted to just write it off, because I had an ex-girlfriend that was like, oh yeah, sometimes if you're way in the mountains of Colorado, you can always see the satellites. These weren't satellites. Satellites take a linear path across the sky. Well, if you believe in them, they take a linear path across the sky. They don't change and fade and move back and forth, because that's not how physics works in regards to how they move. So I'm sitting there watching these lights probably for half an hour, maybe an hour. Kind of freaked out. My dog's freaked out. My dog will not go outside. They're right over my property. This is where I want to move. This is a sign saying this is kind of off limits in regards to what you're thinking about doing. So long story short, I started doing more research. And that's when I stumbled upon the bloodline thing. And I did a little more research, and I was like, I was able to pinpoint my exact blood type before I actually went and got evidence on it. And so once I kind of knew what my blood type was, I was like, okay, well, I'm going back to the hospital that did all the blood work on me. Back in the day, they have all that stuff on file. So I go in, and she's like, oh, well, we can't tell you your blood type. And I'm like, since when has that been like a part of whatever you would call it, like to make it a mystery to where people don't know what their blood type is? When has that been a part of the like doctrine? And so she's like, well, no, we just can't really tell your blood type. I was like, listen, lady. I was like, I will go to your manager. I'll go to your manager's manager. I'll call the owner of this hospital. Everybody has the right to know their blood type, especially if you've done work on them. I'll pay for it. And so she goes to the scanning machine, and she's like acting like this machine will not work. She's like, I can't get your blood type. I can't get it. And I'm like, okay. I know what it is. I know what my blood type is, but I'm going to let you play your game. So then another employee comes in, and she's like, looks at the paper, and I'm like, my blood type was like micro size, like atomic print, but definitely legible. And she's like, I can't get it big enough to where he can see what his blood type is. And the lady snatched the form out of her hand and said, tell this man his blood type. She came over. You're an O negative. Bang, 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 bang. I was right dead on. I knew exactly what it was because I did my research, and I found that from the stuff that I'd been through all growing up, and it all kind of like plateaued and peaked at this moment when I actually went into the hospital And then when I got out of the hospital, things were totally different. But I knew what my blood type was then. I'm not saying I'm more special than anybody. I'm not saying that if you're RH positive, you're a bad person. I know a lot of RH positive people that get better grades than me are light years ahead of me, and they're way smart. They're very intelligent. But one thing I do know is that O negative blood can be used on anyone to heal them. So my route is I'm going to take what I know about myself and use what I've been given to help take care of other people the best I can without being completely exploited and used. So that's kind of my little rundown. And I've seen all kind of crazy shit in my life, like I just have. I haven't seen necessarily dead people, but like I said, I saw those lights over my property, and I'd never seen anything like that. Like I always laughed at the people who are like, "Oh, aliens." I don't believe in aliens, really. Interdimensional beings, possibly. Condensed forces of energy, possibly. Little gray men, that's Hollywood shit, as far as I know. But that's my little story there on the whole RH negative thing. I hope you enjoyed it. What else? Is there anything else I really wanted to just drop on the whole RH negative thing? I think that might be about it. But if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. I'm thinking about donating blood, but I'm not sure yet. I don't trust science with my blood yet. I mean, they're trying to clone it, but they can't reproduce it. So that's pretty interesting. And they can't reproduce RH negative people. They can't clone us. And some people say we are targeted. I could see that. But that's a whole nother story. So just want to share that with you guys. I know I've been absent and gone and just I've been all over the country. I feel like I've been all over the universe. But I've been right here in this little small box of America, which is insanely trippy, snobby, intelligent, freaky, creepy, and beautiful. All crunched up in the same hamburger bun. So that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. I'll make more videos. I love all of y'all that are tuning in and actually watching this stuff. If you don't feel like watching it, I get that too. So take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Do your thing. I'll see you next round.